Hi ladies, so I'm going to show you what I'm calling the cold baseball application method. I have very curved nails, as you can see. They curve a lot from front to back and also side to side. And I've done the baseball application method before. It works. It works better if you do it cold. So here's what we do. So I kind of drew a little picture. So you're going to take your wrap, okay? And I like to cut it out ahead of time. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut out 2 little notches like this so that it will bend and actually form to your nail better so you don't have any wrinkles or creases. As you can see, these ones right here, there's a couple wrinkles in them. I tried doing just the cold application and it did not work. You can see there's wrinkles. This hand, besides fuzz, no wrinkles, nothing, right? They look great. So here's what we're gonna do. Go ahead and prep my nail with the new little prep dispenser, which I love. And so I have a wrap. I like to cut them out while they're still on the plastic film so that I can handle it and kind of get a good idea of where I'm gonna cut my notches at. So I have my little wrap right here. I'm just going to trim this guy in half. And then right down here at the bottom, I like to do it, let me see how close I can get. I like to do it right here, so right above the curve, right when it gets straight. That's where I like to do my notch at, okay? And it's just a tiny little notch into the wrap. The other nice thing about doing it while it's on the film is that you can pull out the notch a lot easier. It is not going to stick to itself. So there we go. There is where I pulled out. Now, cold application means we're going to put it on cold instead of heating it up first. Okay. So, got it on, got my nail. Hopefully you guys can kind of see here. The nice thing is you can place it right where it needs to be. And I just gently pull it on. Okay, you can see I haven't pulled it over or anything. If you need to adjust it, you can. And what you want to do next is go ahead and start at the bottom, and we're going to push this just the bottom section up and then up. Okay, so I got my little cuticle pusher here. We're going to push it in that way. Okay, and then we're going to push the other side up this way. That's going to make sure there's no wrinkles whatsoever on the bottom, and then just push with your cuticle pusher from the center and going out, and you can see it's on completely, and then this top half is still sticking up. Then you're going to want to come to the center of the top, and you're going to push outwards and outwards. Okay, so now it's on, and we have this part sticking up here. You can see that is normal right there. Sorry, white on white here. There we go. That part's sticking up, and that's where that's what the crease is for, or the notch. Sorry, you're gonna push it down, and it's gonna come and it's gonna meet your first incision on this side, and then you're gonna do the same thing over here. It's gonna come down and meet. Now, before you push it down, if it looks like it's gonna overlap, you can trim it some more. Have a little helper here. Hi, bud. Just a minute, okay? Thank you. And so the next step, we're going to trim off some of this excess. Sorry, while I get a fruit snack ready. And then we're going to heat it up. Because we do still have to heat it. We want it to bond to our nail. There you go. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of trim off, not all of it, but just some of it. Trim off that excess. Okay. And you can see it did overlap a little bit. Not the end of the world, because you do want to trim that before, again, you push it down. So I have my heater on. You can use the rice packs. You can use, different heat sources. I'm using my mini heater here just to get it warm like we normally would do. A little bit of heat and pressure, and make sure, because it's overlapping, you want to press down. If you press up, you're going to lift up where you just sealed your nail wrap on the notch. As a side note, this does not work well with solids. As you can see, it's visible. And you can see that little overlap right there. It doesn't really mess up the pattern, but it does, it's very visible. If you look at this finger, I mean, we're getting really close here and you can barely see the notches. It's not messing up the patterns. You can't really see it at all. So I have it heated. Another thing I like to do is using the plastic baggie to seal the tip. Okay, just a minute, okay? And hello to toddler number 2. I do have 2 kids awake right now. Here you go, sweetheart. So you're going to take the plastic baggie, pull it tight, just like that, over the top so it hangs over. We're going to heat it up for just a second. Alright, and just make sure you're going to see it overlaps on the end. You can see that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it cool down completely, because heat and cooling down makes things shrink and expand. So we don't want it to shrink when it gets cold after we've already sanded our nail. So if you let it cool down on your nail, then when you sand it, it's not going to pull back and expose the tip at all. So just let it sit for a few seconds. I did my whole hand, and I had all these little hangovers on all of them, and then I went and sanded once I was done. That way, you know, like I said, it's not going to shrink down. Now, you may have to experiment. That's why I use the Jamberry one that's found at the end of the wraps, or use your samples. You may have to experiment to see how big of a notch you need to cut. I did mine a little bit small on this one, but it still is sealed. It's all the way down. There are no wrinkles, no curves. You know, unlike these other nails I showed you that I tried the other way. And it does take a little bit of practice. If you do cut it too big, like right here, I cut the notch a little big. Hopefully it'll zoom in on that and not me. You can see just right there, you can see that notch. It was just a smidge too big. You know, you don't feel it. It doesn't catch on anything. You know, if you can get it perfect, awesome. If it hangs over a little or it's just a little short, not a big deal. But you're going to have great nails, no wrinkles, no creases, nothing. So good luck. If you have any questions, comment below.